This video is to go with your commissions, tips, fees, homework. So the objective is I can solve multi-step percent problems involving commission, tips, and fees. Let's take a look at the first one for homework. It says the cost of Melissa's dinner is $15.20. She leaves a tip that's 15% of the cost of the dinner. What's the best estimate for the amount of tip? Because it says best estimate, in my mind, I immediately go to the thought of this is probably a problem where you will not be given a calculator for this problem on the state test. This is probably a book one problem. They want the best estimate. So what I do is I would round the cost of the dinner to $15. And then I would take 15% of that. And we're just looking for the tip. So we have our part equals percent times the whole meal, times the cost of the whole meal. So part would be equal to, we know we want to rewrite our percent as a decimal or fraction, so I'm going to write that as 0.15. 0.15 times 15. Then off to the side, I would do 15 times 0.15. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, 6, 7. Put down a 0 as a placeholder. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. Add those up. 5, 7, and 5 is 12. So once I move my decimal point over 2 places, I see that the part to this will be $2.25. So what's the best estimate for that? I would say $2 is the best estimate. And if you didn't round, if you did 15.20 times your 0.15, you would have come up with $2.28 instead of $2.25. Still, you would have realized $2 is the best estimate for how much you'd leave for tip. Now let's look at another problem. This problem involves commission, and I'm actually going to relate this back to the inequality unit that we just finished. It says Mandy's monthly earnings consist of a fixed salary of $2,800. She always makes $2,800, and an 18% commission on all of her monthly sales. To cover her planned expenses, Mandy needs to earn an income of at least $6,400 this month. Write an inequality that, when solved, will give the amount of sales Mandy needs to cover her planned expenses. So amount of sales will be our X. She earns an 18% commission on her monthly sales. So how do we find 18% of her monthly sales? We would do 0.18 times X. She also has a fixed salary of $2,800, so that we would add the $2,800, how much she's guaranteed to make, and we just need to figure out how much she needs to make in sales so that her income can be at least, so her total income can be greater than or equal to $6,400. So that's actually our inequality statement. 0.18 times X plus 2,800 will be greater than or equal to 6,400. So the key here is to realizing you're looking for the amount of sales. So that's what you're going to call X, and she makes an 18% commission on those monthly sales. That's why I did 0.18 times X. Then you'll add on your fixed salary. So now we're going to go ahead and solve the inequality we wrote in step A, part A. 0.18X plus $2,800 needs to be greater than or equal to $6,400. So we'll start by subtracting $2,800 on both sides. Because this is an extended response problem, I know that you'll be allowed a calculator on the state test. So I'm going to go ahead and use a calculator to support me on this. 6,400 minus 2,800 gets me to 3,600. So I have 0.18x is greater than or equal to 3,600. To solve for x, I'm just going to divide both sides by 0.18. So her total sales, once I divide 3,600 by 0.18, her total sales must have been $20,000 or more. And so that's our answer there, $20,000 or more. X is greater than or equal to $20,000. And they ask you to graph the solution to the inequality on a numbered line. Well, if I really want, I could put a 0 there. I can write my 20,000 there. Greater than or equal to 20,000, greater than or equal to means we'll color in the circle because of that or equal to. And if X is greater than or equal to 20,000, as long as the X is written first, we remember The direction of that arrow tells us the direction that we should shade. We want all numbers bigger than or equal to 20,000. So there you have it. That's the second one on tonight's assignment. And that's it. Try to have a good